Hey guys, it's been a while since I've made a video and I apologize about that. And I don't really have any particularly good reason why I haven't made videos in a little while, except for PTSD does happen and the depression sets in and I go into my little hole and I haven't made the videos like I should. And I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of doing that. But I wanted to, first of all, update everybody on Blanco. He is doing so well. I mean, I'm going to say he's 100% healed. There is this teeniest little scab where the hair hasn't completely closed over on his heel, but he's 100% sound, rideable, and his happy-go-lucky self that he always has been. It was a long haul, and it took us months and months to get him healed, but he's finally healed. And I wanted to tell a funny story today. I don't talk or haven't talked a lot about my other horse that I have, and that's Blanco's son, Ranger. And Ranger is a mess. And Ranger, funnily enough, kind of was an accident about me owning him. Someone had bred their mare to Blanco, and they didn't pay for the breeding. And I found out that they really didn't care for their horses the way that they should, and it was within my rights to keep the baby, so I did. And it's funny because Ranger and Blanco from a distance look like identical twins, except when you get close you can tell their heads are a little differently shaped. And Ranger is a lot taller than Blanco. Blanco's about 15 hands, and Ranger is 17 hands. And so that's a pretty big boy. And he started out his life, first of all, just his whole body grew funny because he's so tall. So he never looked quite right until he got to be about 6 years old. And honestly, it took to about 6 years old for his brains to grow into his head. He just kind of was a goofball and not very well behaved as a baby, to be honest with you. He did a lot of naughty things, just to put it that way. And the first 2 years of his life, I wasn't able to even think of a name for the horse. I just called him Jackass all the time because he was a jackass. He acted like a jackass all the time. And not I don't just say that. I mean, he did things with my dad. My dad just thought he would never be safe because Ranger just was a mess. You'd lead him to the pasture and he'd walk out on his hind legs, just rear straight up in the air. Definitely one of those horses that we gelded really quickly. But he has grown into the smartest, kindest, most well behaved horse. He doesn't really spook at anything ever, and he just wants to be in your business all the time. And he's different from Blanco in that way. Blanco's quiet and reserved, and Blanco and I have our own little language, and basically it's silence. I mean, we communicate with each other without words, and it's a wonderful thing that I have that with Blanco. Ranger, on the other hand, wants to be involved in absolutely everything. And you can see from my coat and probably can tell from around me that it's a very, very gloomy day here in Indiana. It has rained all day long. The only thing that we have going for us today is it's not absolutely freezing outside. It's probably in the high 40s, which it's been really cold. If that feels like summer to me, actually, but it's not that cold. But it's been raining all day, and I use my four-wheeler a lot, and I forgot to go fill up the gas can for the four-wheeler, and I knew it was getting low on gas, and so I used it last night to get all the buckets hung up and the water buckets filled up and everything. And the water hose freezes. We can't use our water hose here in the wintertime, and so I have to fill the buckets up at the spigot at the house and put them in the back of the four-wheeler and take them to either the barn or the turnout, which I got everything done last night. And I was thinking, oh, it's okay. I don't really need to go get gas filled up tonight. And I was looking at the forecast, and it wasn't supposed to rain until later today. Well, the forecast wasn't exactly right, and it started raining early this morning. And I woke up, and as soon as the sun started to come up, I could tell it was going to rain. So I got my butt in gear and went down there because I left them out last night so they could, have all the exercise they could get. And I had hung all of the buckets up because Ranger thinks it's really, really funny to step in a bucket and break it. So I can't have them sitting on the ground. And I haven't found the correct kind of bucket hooks to go over my round pen yet. So I have rednecked my buckets where I use the baling wire and put them up. So I have to get the nippers out and nip the buckets down and then carry them back in the barn. And the buckets all still were full this morning. So I am trying to hold the buckets up so they don't crash on the ground, nip them off, and carry them in the barn so that I don't have to make double trips with water. And that's a lot of work for anyone, but certainly for somebody my age and with my injuries, to carry those buckets is not the easiest thing in the world. But Ranger knew the minute he saw me that, okay, I know I'm going to get fed here real quick. But he could tell that I was he saw me taking the buckets down, so he figured out real quick that we were all going in the barn. And I guess I just wasn't doing it quite fast enough for him. So about the fourth bucket in, because he follows me everywhere, and he was following me, and he stands behind me and watches what I'm doing. And so I was on that fourth bucket, and I got the nippers up there, and I'm nipping it down, and I start feeling this nudging on my in the middle of my back, and he was pushing me, and as if to say, come on lady, you're not doing it fast enough. I want to get in there and eat. I want to get in there and eat. And I get this last bucket taken down, and I walk out the gate, and I shut the gate to go hang it up in the barn because I wanted to get the buckets and the hay nets and everything hung up before I walked the horses in the barn. And I shut that gate behind me, and I'm in the barn, and I hear the loudest whinny. I mean, Ranger was out there screaming at me, like, don't forget me, don't forget me. We're still here. We got to go in the barn. And so I'm laughing because he's sticking his head up in the air, whinnying at the top of his lungs, and just running around that round pen, bucking, 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 making sure I do not forget him. And he sees me come, as soon as he sees me walk out of the barn towards the round pen, immediately shuts up, quits throwing a fit, and goes and stands right at the gate. And he's so good about, like, when you halter him and do things, because he's really tall, and I'm tall, but not everybody else is as tall as me and can reach up there and put a halter on him or get on him and all these things. So when you go to put the halter on him, he lowers his head really low for you so you can get the halter around and hook everything. So he was so good. I opened the gate, and I had the halter in my hand, but before I even get it ready to put on him, he has his head almost to the ground, like, okay, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you to take me in. And I put the halter on him, and we get in the barn and everything. And I'm walking him in his stall. And before I walked out of the stall, it was really cute. He followed me over, and he just kind of started rubbing his head on me a little bit, like to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for not forgetting me. And I just talked so much about Blanco. I just thought that would be a funny story for everyone to hear what Ranger does and how good he is. And he has a really busy mind and a lazy body. And it's really funny how those two things communicate, this busy mind and lazy body business. But he loves to learn tricks. And I've taught him to bow a long time ago. I mean, he's been able to do that for ages. But I have actually gotten to where he will lay down. And what I'm doing is I'm training him so he'll lay completely down so somebody can get on him while he's laying on the ground and then stand back up. So I'm excited when we get to that point where he'll do that you guys can see him do that, because it's really remarkable the things that he has the ability to learn. And he is just a smart horse. I mean, Blanco is my horse, and he's my heart horse. He's the horse that was, God made him for me, for sure. I mean, he and I are a team. But I don't ever want to discount Ranger and what he does, because he's such a great horse, and he's so funny. And I just wanted to share that story with you guys. And I also wanted to share something else along the lines of my brain injury. You guys, I've shared with you guys, and you know that I suffer from migraines. I mean, really bad migraines. I mean, I I almost have a headache all of the time, but then it escalates into these migraines, and I have tried just about every treatment and medication known to man over the last 23 years since my accident. And there is one particular medication that I have tried that really does work. It's called Emgality, and it is a pre-loaded injectable shot, and it goes in your stomach. It's super easy to do, and it really doesn't hurt. The thing about it is it's really expensive. There's no generic version for it, and I have insurance, and I even pay for an additional policy to cover my prescriptions. But even with my additional policy for my prescriptions, the Emgality is $800 a month. And that is, I don't, I mean, I can't afford that. I don't know many people that can afford that. And I'm sharing it with all of you guys to see if anybody has any suggestions on how people can go about getting these medications that can really help myself, especially, and be able to get it at an affordable cost, because this is a great medication that has worked for me, and certainly I feel like could work for a lot of you guys that may suffer from migraines as well. So if anybody knows of anything, please share and let all of us know how we could possibly get this medication at a lower cost, because the Emgality is really great stuff. And it's something that worked within the first month that I used it. I didn't even think about it because it's preventative medication. It's not a rescue medication. So you take it to prevent the migraines from coming on. And after the first month I took it, I realized, oh my goodness, I've had like maybe 2 migraines this month, and that's so unusual for me. And then the constant headaches that I just carry with me all the time, I really realized they weren't there all the time either. So this medication is fabulous. It's just not affordable right now. And I don't know why the insurance companies won't cover it. So that's a question I have for everybody. And to so just share with me if anybody knows any ways that we could possibly get this medication at a better price. And also to let you guys know that I'm going to start sharing more and doing more of my videos. Hopefully, maybe the weather will permit, and I'll be able to do some more of my videos while I'm riding. Certainly while Blanco was recovering, I really didn't do much riding at all. And so I'm looking forward to being able to ride both of the horses and do some videos from horseback, so you guys can go riding with me. And if anybody has also any suggestions on how I can share my story and my videos to any kind of news media outlet so that other people can benefit from the healing that horses provide for all of us, because healing with horses is an amazing thing. It certainly saved my life, and I know that it could help a lot of other people. And I'm really trying hard to get that message out there, share my story, share funny stories that happen, and just let people in on my life a little bit, but also hopefully to get something started so that so many other people can benefit from the horses. So if you guys have any suggestions in those regards as well, I would appreciate that, because I've kind of reached a wall of I've sent emails and tried to communicate with so many people and have really not gotten a lot of responses back. So if any of you guys have any suggestions on that end, I would really appreciate it. So I hope everybody is having a great Sunday. Even though it's rainy and gloomy here, I'm having a pretty good Sunday. Had fun with Ranger this morning, and just about to go back out there right now, fill up their water buckets and feed them and talk to them. and get them kind of tucked in for the evening because it gets dark here really quickly. So in about another hour, it's going to be completely dark. So I hope everybody has a great day, and no matter how gloomy it may be here or where you are, just remember to let your light shine through all those cracks. Just because you're cracked, that's how the light gets in. So y'all keep that in mind. Have a great day, and I will be talking with everybody soon. And thanks so much for your kind words, your thoughts, and your prayers. I appreciate it all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.